Okay, and we're back. Rams game, turn 13. Um, the Ulm Asphodel War is heating up, and as always, joined by my co-host Blackmane. How you doing?
Doing great. And yeah, it looks like the wars begin. We have at least two here.
Oh yeah, we got Rely pushing into Rayuga, or is that Rayuga into Rely? I always get mixed up which flag is which.
I think it's Rely pushing into Ryugo. Looks. I think the aggressor is on the left.
Yep. Oh, so we've got Asphodel pushing hard back on Ulm then.
Yeah, wow. Many armies. Ah, I see, with harpies.
Yeah.
Although not so successful.
No, they did manage to strand this party though, taking down the
Yeah,
Master
killed a smith.
Smith.
That's not nothing.
This is nothing.
Yeah.
Huge Facia army.
Yeah, massive. I guess cleaning those last little indies.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, that's very bad for Asphodel, actually. Even though they won,
Oh,
look at their losses.
27 Minotaurs. This is terrible. Oh, it's the crossbows.
Yeah, 40, just that huge 35 PD dump.
Yeah, you gotta hope
And
that Ulm pays attention to this, because on the face of it, you see, oh, Guardians, they did pretty well, 23. But I think it's the crossbows that added the extra oomph there.
yeah, Guardians always hit hard, even if it's not against Sacreds, but they're really hard to mass and expensive.
Yep.
They're not, yeah, I definitely think you're right. The MVP here is just this province defense. Those crossbowmen chewed through a big proportion. Maybe we should watch the battle. I think that might be an interesting one to see. I have a feeling that the Minotaurs just they get too stranded out the front. Let's see.
Oh, yeah, those crossbows are already taking down some. Yeah, these Black Centaurs without any bless aren't gonna do a whole lot of work.
Yeah, into the Guardians too. This is really not the right. You really wanted those Black Centaur to get around the back into the crossbows.
Yep. These
And then the
actually weren't the
Minotaurs, because they don't
Guardians.
care about the pike.
It was
Oh
just
no, it's
the,
the Piccaninnies.
yeah,
Yeah,
the Guardians are over
the
here
Guardians on the
in the
side.
top, but still,
Yeah, that's
you
true.
want the, without a bless, you want the Centaurs maybe in two parties on the top and bottom on attack rear, rather than coming down the middle.
Yeah, trying to get into the because actually the commanders are pretty exposed
Yep.
at the very rear there.
Yeah, those crossbows doing decent work. Yeah, and I think Asphodel actually might have gotten a little bit lucky here that they won this battle.
Looks like it's going to be very close. Yeah, I think they just got lucky on a route. Wow, it's extremely close. I think like it looks like they're just going to win from the Scally spam.
Yep. Yeah, the Guardians just broke, and now the Skelly Spam's gonna make it to the crossbows and do a little bit of damage here. They just took down the PD commander. And I believe this is because... Oh, I'm surprised these commanders stayed on the field. You would have thought they would have HP routed with all the Minotaurs dead.
Hmm. There must be. Oh, fatigue 100. He's asleep. This guy's awake.
This guy's undead. Or part undead. So is he gonna rout?
Yeah, he has normal morale. He's not.
Yeah, yeah. Good for them. They just maybe got a little bit
Hmm.
lucky.
They must be just so when you summon units, they do add to your
But I thought it was like
total HP,
1/10.
HP route.
I thought
For the
summon...
HP route, it adds on, like if you're adding extra units,
Yeah.
these ones will cover you for the units that have routed already, but they won't
Uh...
subtract. So it's basically only a net positive. Summoned units are only a net positive. They just help you not route,
But do you get the
essentially.
full HP value, or is it fractional?
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Well, yeah, then that's what it was. It was that Skelly spam kept
I
them
mean
around.
this fight would certainly suggest that it's a full HP because
Yeah.
otherwise they certainly would have been an HP routed.
Yeah, because the Minotaurs have a huge amount of
Yeah.
HP, and they took heavy losses. Okay, so there you go. Asphodel got a little bit lucky.
Oh, you say that, but that luck might not be enough because they really did take severe losses and they really didn't
Yeah,
kill very much of Orm's actual forces here.
yep, that's true.
See if they can recover.
Strong expand by Yes. Ooh,
A
terrible
bump
luck for Flagra.
straight into Morlocks.
Oh, that's a huge loss. That's about 1,000 gold down the drain for Flagra.
Yeah, very bad. It's a couple of Morlocks.
Yeah.
Hate to see it. Guess they're
It's
just
interesting. The Yeah, they took the charge. And they just cannot hit the knights.
yeah, they're just gonna get slaughtered.
Attack skill 15. Defense skill 25.
It's way too high. Yeah. And the problem is, this is an issue that giants can really encounter quite a bit. Is they can't harass them because they don't have enough attacks. So you're never going to get that defense any lower.
Mm-hmm.
So you can really get trapped against these high defense units with giants.
They're getting a little bit of a surround here. But yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now they're falling.
Yep. Oh, well. That's tough for Flagra.
It is, yeah, they've had a tough game.
Good expand by Shamba. Another decent expand by Ulm. This party's probably too weak to continue, but I think Ulm's pretty much wrapped up by now.
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
And they cleared out those war shamblers this time with
Yeah.
a bigger force.
Yeah, slightly more sacreds, and it made a world of difference. Yeah, I don't know what this harpy strategy is. This like a remote attack that Asphodel has, or are they actually recruiting harpies in their forest provinces?
I don't think they get a remote. I think that's just
Yeah, that's a
spamming harpies. But
odd choice.
there
Is
are
there?
so many DE spells. Maybe we're missing one, but
Yeah.
certainly not working out, whatever it is.
Yep. And here we go.
That was a big PD dump.
And it didn't do a whole lot.
Not a whole lot at all. That's a very strong force from Rillier.
Yeah. Could expand here by Atlantis, but it's a pretty large party. You'd expect it to be cleaning up.
Yep.
Yeah, once again, just a lot of harpies.
Very ineffective.
Oh,
Oh, we have bogus.
yeah. And against
It's a
Flagra,
Flagra.
that's just adding on. We're just piling on
Yeah.
now. Ooh, a night attack.
Killing off some Ryugo Joe. Really misfortune. It's kind of fun being the omniscience and watching the misfortune events.
Yeah. And where was this? Ooh, okay, that's interesting. And so they did not continue their push into Shamba. Shamba does have a large army here. I don't know.
Are they attacking or are they just taking that last province there?
Yeah, it's a huge army to commit to take out this province, but who knows?
Yeah. I guess they don't. Oh, yeah, there's still expansion to the left as well. So,
Yeah.
not sure exactly what they're thinking. There are other spots. So we'll see if they're about to fight or not. But yeah, it's. I think one thing that's really interesting to see here is the difference in the two PD dumps, where you can see that the PD dump against really did nothing. Killed a couple of meteorite guard, but definitely did not pay for itself. And then you have the PD dump that Orm used against Asfo, and even though they lost, that was definitely worth it.
Yeah. for sure.
That really messed up that army really bad.
Oh, and we've got the
And I
Black
think,
Steel Colossus on
oh,
his
he's
way.
coming. Mystical Ice. Yeah, so I think the biggest difference between those two is that Ulm had some extra forces with PD. PD is often really weak if it's just totally unsupported.
Yep.
But if you can mix in some of your own forces, it can be much stronger. So you've got a bit of control over that scripting.
Let's take a look at the graphs again. Provinces Ulm and TC continue to be up there, but who is that catching up to them? Oh, yes, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And then
Yeah.
Ryuga not far behind. Yeah, not surprising. Both TC and Ulm building quite a few forts, and the others starting
Definitely
to come
the game
along.
leads right now.
Yeah, nothing too surprising on the others. Oh, yes. Or no, Shamba. Looks like they took their mages out.
Maybe site searching.
Yeah.
Maybe marching on someone. Bit weird. I mean, they can't be marching just on Ryugo because it's only 2 provinces. It'd be weird to bring your whole mage call. But
You never know.
yeah,
Dominion
it's true.
surprises you.
That is very true.
Okay, that was turn 14. Anything before we move to 15?
I think we already discussed everything, really.
Excellent. So we've got, let's say, 2 wars kicked off right now. Early age or early stages in both Asphodel, Ulm, Relay, Ryuga. Who are you picking in each of those wars?
Ooh, I mean, I think Ulm definitely has the advantage after seeing that fight. And they've got their Dormant God online. For the other fight, I'm not sure. I mean, certainly that's a scary force from Rayleigh, but I would never count Illidan out of anything. I think he's a very strong player. And all he needs is one reversal with his god, and everything changes.
Oh, a little bit of 2-on-1 action going here as Shamba moves on Ryuga.
Oh yeah, so that was a war. So that was unexpected. I thought that was just some Diplo, but no.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, so they
Here's a
did empty their fort, their army.
yeah, large chunk of their mage core.
They must have hit a research timing that they thought was useful. And that's the right time to move out. I mean, that's when you use your mages, is when you get that research timing to make them powerful in combat.
They're bringing some yak riders in with this army. These do not impress me. Am I missing something?
I think that I have a feeling this unit becomes a yak when it dies. Let's see, yak rider.
And will often continue to fight even if the rider has been killed.
Yeah, it becomes the dying shape is yak, which then adds another 32 HP. It's not an amazing unit, but they do actually have quite a lot of total HP. They're a good HP sink, so to speak.
Oh, huge number of knights hitting this indie province.
Must have consolidated 2 groups. Bone
Yeah.
Tribe can be scary, so I think he was just being careful.
Asphodel's pressing now. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's a decent amount of free spawn coming on the Asphodel side now. I wonder if the combination of
Yeah.
Minotaurs and free spawn is going to be enough to slow down Ulm.
Really, I mean, Ulm is slow, so their army is marching down pretty slowly, I think, towards Asphodel's border.
Yeah,
This army does look a little anemic from Asphodel.
yeah.
I think a proper army will wipe that. Ah, here we go. TC taking a throne. I think that's the first throne.
Yes, I believe you're right. Heavy losses on the Red Guard, but they were successful.
I think they marched into a Skelly spam throne by the looks of those kills.
Yeah. Yeah, and they just didn't have enough to punch through. And probably just got bogged down. Where's that dragon? Why is it not flying to the back line?
What is that dragon doing? Maybe waiting a few turns before it flies. Yeah, not casting anything. I think he's just waiting to get an attack rear.
Oh, the nets, I guess, are doing work. Yeah, and here comes the dragon.
But I think he's just gonna end up maybe. Oh, he just got Soul Slay on him.
Is that another benefit of your AI mod?
That is, yeah. The AI will use sensible spells. It does make the thrones a little bit scarier than usual.
Yeah, that dragon breath is not doing anything to these skeletons.
I think he might be poisoning his own guys at this stage. Does he
Looks
have a
like it.
PR poison resistance in his place? I don't remember.
No, just
He was just pure
quickness.
quickness. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if you waited 1 or 2 rounds too long to bring the pretender in, and maybe could have avoided some casualties here. But it does look like
Yeah, I
the
think
dragon actually did the majority of the damage because you take that poison damage after the battle ends, right?
yeah. I think he's gonna end up losing a couple more of these guys to poison damage.
Yep.
Yeah, lost at least one more. Quite a few more, yeah.
Yep.
I think if he'd flown in his pretender at the beginning, I mean, I understand he didn't want to fly it in too early and then it just gets surrounded and killed. Uh,
But
but
yeah,
by
they got
doing
a
so,
lot of
he actually,
skeletons online.
yeah. Still, I mean, you expect to lose some forces against the throne. It is what it is. He didn't lose his god. That's not really a big problem.
Yep. The
The
Hobbit
MVPs of
Mercs
the
is
entire
doing
game.
work.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hope we
okay, I
get to
was
see them
wrong.
against Asphodel.
That party's continuing to see use.
Yeah, expanding into Asphodel. Just scouting. Here we go.
And then,
Small
yeah,
force
taking that
taking
province
those
back.
provinces back.
And here we go, Terror of the Deep. Up on
Let's see where his
land.
kid is.
Pretty standard. Black steel.
Yep.
Some increased map move. Lodestone to up the MR, which helpful against the paralyzed, right?
Yeah.
And then bracers. 5, 8, 4, 7. It's a scary monster for sure.
It
Hit
is.
points
Protection
265.
33.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is strong. I think actually that force from Rayleigh can't kill this. Not directly.
Yeah, and yeah, temper armor bumps protection to 35. He can throw on personal regen on top of the bless regen, depending on his research.
Yeah, that'll be really problematic.
Yeah, regenning 20% at 200 hit points.
He is taking a little bit of damage from the knights there, I saw during the charge. I mean, obviously not enough to make any real difference, given he can just regen it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not completely immortal. I think the big thing is that if he didn't, I actually think the saving grace here against Rayleigh with this god is the cold aura. Because you could surround him, and MR22 is high, but it's against 30 mind blasts. You'll get through, and he'll get paralyzed. But I think it might be very difficult to chip him down because all of the meteorite guard are going to get fatigued next to him because of the cold aura.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And with 265 HP, it'll take a while to take him down, at which point they're all going to be asleep, and he can wake up and kill him.
Looks like Facia's trying to get underwater here. Yeah.
I mean,
That's a
that's
tiny
never going to
party,
be
though.
successful with 6. Yeah. That was never going to work. I'm not sure what he was thinking.
Yep, Shinu came back with a much larger force to take down the horse tribe.
Yeah,
It's
much
just
more
what you need
sensible.
to do. It's just a bad matchup.
Yeah.
Atlantis continuing decent expand. And then Relay pushing their advantage a bit deeper into Ryuga.
Well, Relay doesn't have the information we have, which is we know what that god is.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So I think he thinks he's safe, but I think he's not.
And then big party here, or decent number of sacreds at least, considering the scales, moving into Shamba. So a lot of
Yeah,
provinces
very
flipping.
aggressive.
Oh,
Pretty
good.
clean against 55 Shark Tribe.
Yeah.
Very lucky for him. I guess he has that poison resistance. Oh, no, he only has regen, but that same diff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then yeah, strong expand by yes. Second Atlantis party, cleaning things up. Good expand here. Unification. And then yeah, a barb attack into Phaeacia.
Or misfortune attacks.
Yep. Did Yes also go? No, Yes appears to be neutral. But you should just dip into it though.
Where was the province that got hit? It might have been a misfortune province. I don't see
Trying to
which
see
province
it.
it was.
But,
I see.
right
It's
here.
down in the yeah.
Yeah, just a neutral, just bad luck.
Oh, just neutral. Yeah, happens sometimes.
Yep. So the pond's almost filled out. We've got one province left here from an indie perspective, and then a few over here that, interestingly enough, Relay has decided to ignore as they're trying to press their advantage into Ryuga.
Well, I think next turn we might see. It really depends on what the Dominion is in there. If Ryugo
This is
tries to
Ryuga
catch this
Dominion.
army, that is. And now, but where will Roulier expand into? He'll see the god now.
Yeah, you almost want to
So
fall
he knows.
back if you're Relay, right? To get back into your Dominion.
Yeah, or push. I think fighting
Or
that.
maybe push north
Yeah, I think pushing there,
to get
taking
away
these
from
isolated provinces,
Yeah.
because that the terror of the deep, not in his dominion, is much weaker. To remind people, pretender gods, they get their full bless automatically in their own dominion, but they do not get blessed at all in enemy dominion.
Yep.
So he loses the regen, the chill aura, the fortitude, everything. And then I think that Yi's army, the Rillier army just cleans it up.
Yep.
So I wouldn't expect him to move it out though. I would expect him to remain only in his own dominion with that god and basically use it defensively.
And looks like Asphodel's reinforced their army sieging here, still churning out Minotaurs in their cap, but yeah, just not huge. I think they're just going to struggle from an eco perspective.
I agree. I think their expansion wasn't strong enough. I think Ulm needs to, in order to lose this war, Ulm will need to take several very bad engagements or get attacked from another perspective.
Yeah,
Another
look
direction.
At this 1, 2, 3, 4 additional forts, in addition to the one that's under siege on the Ulm side.
And Asphodel has nothing, right? Just the initial
just
cap.
the cap.
Yeah, it's not looking great for them, just in terms of pure production.
Yep.
But like you said, Dominion's always surprises you. You never want to count people out. I've seen people come back from being a single province, just their cap. So it can happen. If they get good diplo, if they can convince Yiz to join or Shiniyama to join, the tides can turn very quickly.
Yeah, Yiz doing a good job grabbing land footholds. They've got their first fort online. And then Atlantis
Yiz is looking really strong here.
Is taking advantage of Asphodel's distraction to establish a beachhead as well.
Yeah, I'm liking Atlantis' position. I think that they've managed to get a really nice kind of beachhead along that eastern coast.
Yep.
Which is easy to reinforce from the water.
Shinu
I'm liking Yiz's position.
A little bit small, Shinu. A little bit smaller than I would have expected.
Just that many bad indie fights. They're just slightly too greedy, and if that happens too many times, then.
But look how greedy Ulm has been. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jumps away from their capital. If I'm Shinu, or if I'm Asphodel, I'm speaking with all of Ulm's neighbors at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's such a strong incentive for someone else to jump on them at the same time.
Yep.
So hopefully we see that. Maybe make the war very interesting, I think.
And
I would really like to see this Asphodel kind of survive a bit longer in the game because it's such an unusual build.
Yeah.
Very odd scales, that's what I've never seen it before.
Looks like next turn we're gonna see what the Black Steel Colossus can do.
Yeah, very excited to see that.
Okay, let's jump into that. Apologies, actually. What turn was this? This was turn 15. Okay. On to turn 16. And then we'll call it a wrap.
Really excited to see this Black Steel Colossus in action.
Here we go. A message has arrived from Phaeacia.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Phaeacia tried to nap Atlantis. They want to sort out who wins the lake before they think about naps. It sounds bogus, I agree. Want to worm their way into the little pond. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like nonsense to me.
Are
They're
they going
definitely
to march through 183 or
Mm.
168? Oh, okay. Oh, Phaeacia's got a Titan. Interesting. That'll be something to keep an eye on. And yeah, TC's claimed that throne. Okay, here we go. We've got...
rating. And still with that tiny force of just 3 Black Knights.
Yep.
Just doing work.
I'm just skipping through these quickly.
Yeah, nothing too interesting here.
Whoa.
Oh.
That did not go well for Ulm.
It did not.
Guardians did work, at least, and so did the Black Steel. But
not well
the
enough.
Black Steel is
Whenever it's
dead.
undergeared.
And does Ulm get priests in their forts? Or do they just get the priest smith in their capital?
I'm not sure. I think they do get I'm pretty sure that they do get priests in any fort. Let's look. I'll make sure that's accurate.
Oh, the Black Steel Colossus has no gear.
Oh, big mistake from Ulm. I think I mentioned a couple of turns ago that these Colossus, it's like the Bronze Colossus, they really need to be geared. In particular, they really need reinvigoration gear because they have a innate caster. An innate caster means they're going to keep casting every turn, accruing fatigue, even when they're set to attack. So you really want to be able to have some reinvigoration to offset that.
And he got cursed turn 1.
Immediately cursed. Yeah, this is not great. That I think that was a big misplay by Ulm. They absolutely should have waited and geared their god. It would have made a huge difference. I mean, I think they were worried about losing this province because it has a fort in it, and yeah, it's not great. But sometimes you have to take those losses, you know.
For sure. Yeah, the Minotaurs are just doing enough to chip away. Let's take a look here. Black Centaur. Oh, Black Centaur, Minotaur. Yeah, I think they're just going to chip it down.
Chips of damage. And if he had, say, just the basic kind of Black Steel full plate, something like this, they wouldn't have been able to do that. His prop would be just a little higher.
I'm also interested, what did he cast? Flaming Missiles, Protection of the Smithy, Summon Earth Power. What does Protection of the Smithy grant?
It's a unique Ulm spell. Off the top of my head, they get 2, one of which is essentially Temper Flesh.
Okay.
And the other, I think, is like a Temper Armor.
Yeah,
So yeah,
like
I think he cast
Temper Flesh.
Yeah. It may have also given it looks like it gave him Weapons of Sharpness as well.
Yeah.
So AP weapons.
But yeah, just not enough Guardians. Obviously, they did do work, and not enough mage support.
Yeah, and I think it just
Asphodel has a significant mage core here. compared to what Ulm brought to the table.
And more mages wins the battle. Ungeared God, and I think that it's really again what we were saying earlier, which is the prediction, which is that Ulm can easily win this with production, but they need to swap out of Guardians. Guardians are not the right choice here. They're expensive unit, and there's no Sacreds here to kill. Very few Sacreds.
Yep, maybe some black plate infantry with axes and some crossbows.
Or crossbows, because we saw those crossbows do very well.
Yeah, a little mix and match.
In the PD. Yeah. Now, his fatigue is still staying down because he's only casting these really low-level spells.
Yeah, and he's got a bit of reinvig from Summon Earth Power. But yeah, he's just going to get chipped away. He's down to 18.
Yep. So I guess at least he didn't fatigue himself out with the spells, but the spell's also not really doing enough to make any difference here. He's casting weakened joints. Yeah, there he goes.
Yeah. Yeah, just in Dominion's a lot of time, whoever brings more mages is going to be more successful. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just
more mages, more gear.
Put some gear on the black steel, and then bring some more mages. And honestly, bring some more troops. He only brought 60.
He brought 60, and 25 of those were Deer Tribe archers, which are really just not going to do the job.
Yep.
I think he really wanted to save that fort, and it was a risky move, and in this case it didn't pay off. I think if he just waited, built up a few more forces, and kitted that Colossus, he would have easily won this.
So another expensive victory for Asphodel, I guess, losing 24 Minotaurs and another 6 Black Centaurs, but
trading for a god, absolutely worth it. No question.
Yeah, it's just going to take Ulm a long time to get the Black Steel back. I don't think they need the Black Steel to win the war, though, but with how slow Ulm moves, just, yeah, gear that thing up next time.
I mean, they've still got more forts. They can. I still wouldn't count them out, but so far they've been. Oh no! Morale hit. The Burgermeister guards are dead. It's over for Ulm. They can't win now and take everything back.
No!
They're lucky charms. What a horrible turn.
Oh, they lost their guard and the Burgmeister.
Yeah.
Or the god and the Burgmeister. Oh, Jesus, Flagra.
Oh, yeah, that was really bad from Flagra 2. What a disaster turn for so many players. This little independent party, Bogus, you really can't mess around with him. Extremely strong.
Oh yeah,
in particular this hero, just absolute beast. So strong this
Fear, luck, a bit of gear.
23 defense, 23 prot, 4 attacks.
And we're fighting in darkness, right? So yeah, our attack skill.
Yeah,
good luck hitting that. 8 attack into 23 or 24 defense.
There's no chance. Yeah, he's just gonna lose everything there.
That's a bummer.
And I think that's where all his commanders are. So I think it's gonna get all his commanders slaughtered.
Yeah, I don't even want to watch. They're just gonna.
It's too painful.
Too sad. They did clean up the rest of the party, except for the Troll Archer and the Dark Knight. But yeah. Oh boy, Flagra.
Very rough.
Okay, here we go. Shamba. TC scouting another throne, but doesn't use retreat on their scouts.
Bit of a mistake, but
okay,
nothing too bad.
Small turn small number of events to be expected with things wrapping up from an expansion perspective. Interesting here. They built their temple and their lab before their fort completed. That's aggressive.
Risky.
Yeah, you better hope you've got good diplomacy.
Yeah, it's aggressive and it's risky because you can also just get hit with an indie attack.
That too. 16 defense in the province.
Probably enough, but I've certainly had that happen to me before. I never build the temple first anymore. It's losing 1,000 gold from the fort and the temple in one turn. Oh.
Yeah, that's expensive. And then this is the throne they took. Oh, plus growth. Did they need it? Yeah, good for
Yeah,
them.
looks like it.
And then precision.
Great throne to pick
It's
up.
kind of worthless.
Precision, whatever, not so useful, but the rest of it's nice.
Yep.
So we have that big Shambhala
Interesting.
army moving in.
The Terror of the Deep stayed still. Relay retreated rather than going north onto land.
I think they were. It looks to me like they were hoping that God would move
Jump them
aggressively into
there.
their dominion. Because if the God had moved there, it makes sense in a way, because if Ryugojo had made that mistake, they probably would have won the war right there. Right, R'lyeh would have won the war right there, because I think they would have killed the God.
Yep.
Of course, I wouldn't expect Ryugojo to make that mistake, because that would be a really bad mistake to make. But everything happens in Dominions. People they make ballsy moves, and so I see why it wouldn't be that bad of a move to make, because at worst you just don't get that waste province, which has low income anyway, and Ryugojo is not getting tracing income to it, which is not that big of a loss. But at best, you kill the God. So fair enough. Oh, they're also making a fort there. Okay, that makes perfect sense now why you do this. You have to defend this province. Yeah.
And then Faisha mentioned they're gearing up that Titan. It is the Neteret of many names.
Yeah, this is
it's a research Titan, right?
Yeah, it's a research
Aspiring
Titan.
researcher.
That's really big. Yeah. But it can fight just as well.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like Atlantis might be thinking about moving in here. It is a pretty good first war option for Atlantis, especially if they can get some support, maybe from Phlegra. Because
I don't know about the shape Phlegra's in, though. Support.
Not great. Definitely not great, but
yeah.
I often find having war allies, it's often better to have war allies that are weaker than you. Because if you pick an ally who's stronger than you, then they can take more land than you can. So you've helped someone stronger than you grow even stronger. But if you pick someone who's weak, Phlegra's relatively weak, you always kind of hope that they distract Facia, but don't take a lot of land, and you get to clean up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I don't really know what Phlegra's move is next. I also don't know what Facia's move is next. It's kind of tricky for them because they've got water provinces right next to their cap, and not really any way to get under there. It's pretty rough for them.
Huge number of forts for TC on turn 16.
Yeah, producing quite a few. I guess trying to get that research boom going.
4, 5, and building 6 and 7. That's a significant investment in infrastructure. Obviously, they expanded well, and we're not entirely sure of their diplomatic position, but typically, I'd almost consider that an overinvestment in infrastructure.
It's definitely going to be hard for them to produce consistently out of that many forts, but they are quite large, and they may decide to go quite light on the units.
Yeah.
There's no reason for them to war because they've had such a good expansion. They could just try to begin a research boom where they convert this big expansion into, a really solid research target.
Yep.
In that case, maybe this number of forts makes sense because you just don't produce any units at all except for your sacreds, and you just produce cheap researchers out of everything.
Oh, this would be a significant throne for them to pick up as well. Blessed troops,
that'd be
defense
amazing.
+3 on the red guard with quickness. That's significant.
That would be fantastic for them.
Yep. Okay.
So who do you think coming out of this is your favorite so far? Who do you think are the top positions?
Favorite to win the game?
Too early for that, but...
Yeah, TC's looking really strong. A turn ago, I would have said Ulm. I like what I've seen out of Yis so far.
Yeah, me too. Really solid expansion, and just basically no losses.
Yep. Yeah, significant.
What do you think about the
traction into the land over here against Phlegra?
Yeah, not even coast anymore. In fact, I can see they have several provinces that are not even coast provinces.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Yep.
Yeah.
What's your take on the Ryugojo versus Rayleigh Shambhala?
The Titan is well geared. Shamba put a lot of troops in the field. I'm gonna pick Ryuga Joe to take the victory.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think that it's just really difficult for either of these other nations to push them, like
Especially at
to
this
actually
early.
secure anything. Yeah, into that Titan. Um,
Interestingly,
hmm.
they do not have a second fort online at turn 16.
Are they making one? Surely. No, not at all. Quite surprising. Must just not have been able to afford it. They did lose. They did bump and lose quite a few units.
Yeah, and their scales are pretty trash.
Yeah, really garbage.
But
And also Ryujin are very expensive.
yeah, so that might actually be an issue. Um, the Terror of the Deep obviously is going to carry them in this early game, but going into the late game or mid game, they're going to be way behind on research.
How's their research looking on the graph so far?
Bottom. No one
Really
is
bad.
worse. But TC's right there with them. But obviously TC's got, what are they? Yeah, they're tied with Ulm for the most forts, so they're going to be able to
Yeah, so
pick
they're
up.
getting the macro one.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure they'll pick up the research. But Ryugo can't do that. They have no other forts. So they're really gonna have to make this count. Because they've really got this Hellbless Rush build. And yeah, that god stops them from being. I don't think it's going to be possible to knock them out with that god. But the minute that the god goes down, the minute any of these other nations get tech that can kill it, then they don't really have much else.
no.
They've got these beefy sacreds, but they're not invulnerable. And yeah, they don't have that research. I mean, they don't have the ability to get water elementals online, anything like that, anytime soon. So we'll have to see. I think a lot of this just comes down to whether or not these other nations walk into this god or not.
Yeah, the fog of war is what makes Dominion so interesting
Yeah, for
because
sure.
it's hard, especially this early. It's hard to know how many forts Ryuga has. It's hard to know uh, where people's research is at this phase of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you're bod, I don't think you've even seen. You can see this god, I guess. Now you're next to it, but you don't know what is on it. You don't know how well geared it is. We just saw a Black Steel Colossus die, which is a pretty strong early game pretender. So, and also a lot of players just. I mean, this is a big game. Not everyone is that experienced with, particularly with underwater. So, for example, Shambhala just might not realize that this god is that strong. They might, move this army in and essentially lose it for free. Because I think that this god will kill that army for sure.
Whose Dominion do we have here? And this is Ryuga Joe's Dominion, so if he wants to take that fight, he can. It is just one candle, which is a little risky, but
A little, but
yeah.
I think that he wins. I mean, he'll probably lab it out and see for himself. Probably depends a little bit on what Shambhala. I think I've been calling the bod. It's the early age version. It depends a little bit on what magic they've got on those mages, but it's probably not enough. I would guess.
Turn 16, he did have a decent research. I'd be surprised if he had anything at level 5. Maybe one level 5.
Yeah, I think it's unlikely. I mean, the one potential weakness of that god at this stage is that MR22 is not invulnerable. And so if you had a Soul Slay battery, you would kill it. It'd take quite a few hits, but you would eventually get it.
Yep.
But whether he has Soul Slay online, I mean, that seems unlikely this early.
Agreed.
But I guess we'll see. That's like you said, it's the beauty of Dominions, right? There's this fog of war. You never know quite what other people have got, and it's a game with such hard counters. You just have to take these risks sometimes, and you win or you lose.
It's going to be an interesting early game for sure.
Yeah, it's really shaping up. What a fantastic game.
Yeah. Well, thank you as always for the time, Blackmane, and look
No
forward to
problem at
next
all.
episode.
Yeah, me too. See you later.